Ni hao, one page tutor here. In this video, I'm going to share the tactics to score physics. If you find it difficult to excel in the essay part, this is the right video for you to watch. So I have timestamp here and also in description box below, so you can skip to those tactics. And without further ado, let's jump into the topics. Mastering physics essay. So let's talk why is physics essay so important. Let's look at this physics exam format here. I've analyzed that physics are divided into two categories. One is conceptualization, another one is modification. So what is conceptualization and what is modification? Conceptualization is like to explain about inertia, asking you to compare between, for example, the mass of a truck and a car and the inertia for a truck and a car, and relate mass with inertia. So conceptualization is asking on explain, relationship, and comparing. While for modification, it's asking the characteristic and the explanation. Like for example, heating element. The characteristic for heating element is having a high resistivity material, for example nichrome, and explain then the reason why you choose this characteristic, which is it will provide more resistance, which will have more energy lost in the form of heat. So that is under the category of modification. Okay, let's go back to this table here. As you can see that conceptualization actually appears twice in section A and section B, while for modification appears in 3 sections. So you can see that there actually appears frequently in physics exam in the paper too. So mastering physics essay is important. Plus, for physics essay, it contains minimum 5 marks and can go up to 12 marks. While for other like definition, calculation, minimum is 1, it can go up to 5. In order to score for physics, you actually have to excel in physics essay, not just calculation. Because many people have this thought like, physics is just calculation what, as long as you good in math, then no need care one lah, the essay hantam je lah. It's not like that. You actually have to master both sides, and physics essay plays a vital role for you to get A+. If you want this exam format table, it's in the description link below. Let's move on to the second tactic, using formula to answer physics essay. Using formula tactic can be used throughout paper 1 till paper 3, but it's only applicable when that topic has formula. For example, radioisotopes in radioactivity chapter, there's no formula, so you can't use it. What do I mean by using formula to answer? Formula itself, it gives you a clue what keyword to include and what's the relationship between them. Okay, let's see the example for heat chapter from 4. As you can see, there are 2 cups before, after. They are put at room temperature to cool from the same temperature but having different mass and put to cool, and the one on left would cool faster compared to the one on right. Most people will straight right the one have smaller mass will cool faster, but they didn't use the keyword. In physics essay, to score you have to use the keyword. Okay, so first thing, identify the variables MV, RV and CV. I know this is not paper 3, but this is one of the way to use this tactic. So you put them into MV and CV one side equals to RV one side. Let's see the question relating mass of water with the rate of loss of heat. Rate of loss of heat is temperature change, which is the theta. Now the MV is mass, the theta is the RV. So you arrange them into MV CV equals to RV. Okay, so now you can know the relationship through, if they are one line, they will be directly proportional. Once Q increase, theta also will increase because they are in one line. Under theta, there's over 1. Q and theta is one line, MC is the one bottom. So MC with theta has the relationship of inversely proportional. So once mass is smaller, the temperature change will be bigger. They have inversely proportional relationship. While for the one on top, Q and theta, they have directly proportional relationship, which is Q go up, then theta also will go up. So this is how you use formula. Okay, first thing, you just use Q equals to MC theta, you know what keyword to include now. And then second thing, you use this grouping them into MV/CV one side, RV one side, you can know the relationship using this up down thing. So one line, the one on top would be directly proportional, the one bottom would be inversely proportional. You can say that if the mass is smaller, the temperature change or rate of heat loss would be higher. Okay, the second relationship is mass of water and quantity of heat in water. So you have to arrange again. Now the RV changed to Q already, because quantity of heat in water, which is heat stored, which is the Q. So Q is RV, MV is mass, and the rest will be CV. So if M go up, then Q will go up also. It's directly proportional relationship. The answer stated that when mass increases, quantity of heat increases. If you happen to forgot the relationship, you can use this tactic to answer. Next quick example would be modify the heating element for electric kettle to have higher efficiency. Let's look at this formula here. This is a resistance formula, so you can actually know the keyword for these questions already. So it's the resistivity, the length, how the resistance affect the temperature, the heat release, and the area. Okay, so let's look at the first relationship. Because resistance is RV, so you just put at one side and count it already. Then the others would be MV, like the resistivity. If the resistivity higher, like for example using nichrome or constantan, it will have higher resistance produced. Higher resistance will have more energy lost in the form of heat. How the R is related to the theta. So more resistance, more energy lost in the form of heat. So next is the length, and R is one line one. So it go up, resistance also go up. If the length of constantan wire longer, then the resistance produced will be higher also. And the area is not in the same line one. So if the area is decreases, the R will increase. The tactic would be preparing physics essay answer beforehand. So before entering the exam, you read a lot of physics essay. Just reading, you don't have to purposely go and do a lot. Just read the questions, read the answer, highlight the keywords, use the second tactic that I taught you, which is using formula to answer, know the relationship, practice this thing, and once you enter the exam, you just see the question and you know what to do already. You don't have to go there and spontaneously brainstorm. And physics essay is actually easy to score because they will just ask that scope. They won't ask like out of the scope. Okay, so let me list out the example questions for radioactivity chapter, the radioisotopes, which is commonly asked in essay questions. Leakage of water pipe, thickness of paper, thickness of aluminium sheet, measure the volume of the solution or like guava juice, orange juice inside a carton to know the uptake of fertilizer for plant, the safety measure for handling radioactive substance. There are a few more, but they will just ask in this scope. They will definitely ask these questions only. So you can actually prepare those answers beforehand. So you just have to read more, because you so happen to read the answers that you're going to have in exam. So what I did is I read a lot of essays before exam. So I read this before trials, and so happened my trials came out the same questions inside these two sets. They will just change a bit like the diagram or change a bit of the info inside, but they will just ask in that scope. So you just have to read more. Just now I've said that I read questions from these two sets, right? So I actually read the questions from many different printed notes, and I compiled them, arranged them according to chapters. Those repeated questions, I will select the one which ask in a better way and have more content and put in arranged form, and separate them into modification questions and conceptualization questions. And also I've arranged them like questions and answers. So I've arranged in a way that you can straight read the questions and then highlight the answers already. You don't have to flip back to see the answers. So you might see that a few of those questions, those answers, I have diagrams here and there, or like a bit of statements or explanation, which is help you to understand it better. Physics trials is in October. It's less than 2 months already, so you think that it's pretty last minute to have this kind of notes, but since it's read the questions, highlight the answers, you're not doing it, so it's not time consuming already. So the time when I read is actually pretty near to SPM. It took 3 months to read a few of them. I didn't manage to read all, but I read most of them. And it helped me so much. My physics is actually from 60 something and increased until 70 something, and finally I got A+. As long as you put in effort, you know the effective way of studying, nothing is impossible. And your SPM is in January. You still have a few months more to read all these. All these questions are not like just what you found in SPM or like success. And sometimes when you have too many materials, you don't know which one to start first, or once you finish past year, then you think that, then the trials you don't have to see already, and you neglect those rare questions, because past year they won't have the same question in this year already. In this recent year, their way of asking is trickier. The questions, the info, more rare, that you haven't seen those stuff before. If you wish to get A+, just rely on past year. Cannot. So my video have come to an end. You can comment down below what you want me to do for the next video. It can be tips or tutoring video, because my plan for the following videos would be tutoring for hard topics. For example, the chemistry chapter 2, the alkane chapter, all of them, all the reaction, I'll compile into one page note and teach everything in simplified form. So that is my tutoring video. And for tips video, I will share more on study tips or like the answering tactic tips for paper 3. So you can comment down below what help do you need. I'm glad to help you. So my tutoring video will focus on the 3 sciences. So if you agree to my content, share with your friend and get good grades together. Remember, with self-discipline, nothing is impossible.